Hello and welcome to America's Cricket Show, Big Innings. I'm Aaman Patel, and I'm joined by Nate Hayes today. We won't have our buddy Dane Pete, only because of the fact that he's down at the Houston Open, taking 4 firsts for the Sump Army, took 4 wickets today, so he's been on an absolute tear. But we still have plenty of stuff to talk about. I got the football in my hand today, and we're live, and we're so happy to be live, our first live show, and this means as we go through the show, you can drop comments and suggestions of what you want to hear about or see right there in the channel. We'll try to get back to you by the end of the show. But for today, our scheduled programming goes as follows. USA's cricket struggles in the World Cup qualifiers so far. The Texas Super Kings, they've finally announced their squad, so we'll go into depth on that and other changes around the Major League Network. And also we have minor league cricket's pending expansion into Canada. And might be the hottest news off the press, the Ashes Day 5. Nate, we saw an incredible Day 5. Tell me what you saw.
Well, first of all, we were watching USA before that.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Ashes right afterwards. It was like a long day. I can't believe it's only Wednesday right now. But, it started off rough watching USA struggle. But that last session in the Ashes was absolutely phenomenal. It was an amazing advertisement for Test cricket. And hopefully a lot of people got to see it. I love when England plays at home because it's good timing for us to watch Test cricket. You can have it on while you're working. So yeah, the final session, unreal. Pat Cummins, tremendous.
Tremendous indeed. And that was Test cricket at its best. I think you mentioned that. Again, I think what we saw from Pat Cummins was just what we've consistently seen through his captaincy, just calm, composed, and I think it shows the strides he's taken with the bat as well. I think also it showed Nathan Lyon, I think, had maybe the shot of the day when he flicked Stuart Broad over mid-on. I saw that shot, and I rewound the video because I was like, holy smokes, that's not real. It's just casual, everyday shot. I mean, it was really unreal. That whole match was crazy. There's so much we could dive into, but I think the just entirety of Ben Stokes, Pat Cummins, that matchup was really exceptional.
Well, when Ben Stokes, I think it was the 6th or 7th wicket that he took, and it looked like that was going to be the match-winning wicket, and you're thinking, is this another Ben Stokes legend that's happening right now? And it turned out to not be so. The visitors, the best team in the world right now, Australia, came in and denied them the win. Just watching the courage and the confidence of with 3 wickets to go, Nathan Lyon kind of saying, "Hey, look, I'm not a number 11." Like like they called him. So yeah, it was impressive. I don't know, man. Bairstow dropping the. You need 20 wickets against the best team in the world, and you got a wicket keeper that's made a few drops. He's a tremendous batter. We know that. We also know there are better players with the gloves in England. Folks, for example. So, do you really want to give how much is 5 or 6 runs more that he's going to give you worth than the wickets? Than taking catches. And so, obviously, you don't want to be too hard on the guy. He feels probably terrible about it. But it came down to that to me, in a lot of ways, and just you have to be able to take those wickets.
Yeah, no, I can see the point there. I think there are better keepers in England, but I think what it is, modern Test cricket is not. I think when you talk about the way Test cricket used to be played, I think Justin Langer said it when he was on the Test, one of my favorite cricket documentaries, was the way he was assembling his 11 was he's going to get 5 bats, your best keeper. Doesn't really have to bat, just I want a keeper. I don't know if that truly works in modern day cricket, and Johnny Bairstow's such a huge asset with the bat that he can turn it up into a 100, a 200, especially the way England plays Test cricket and what basketball is. And I think this was probably the perfect example of basketball. It wasn't, I'm going to bat at 200 or 150 strike rate. It's, I'm going to play my shot no matter the situation in the match.
If it's there, I'm taking my shot. I'm not going to leave my shots on the table.
It could be the first ball of Pat Cummins for Joe Root wanting to play that shot, or it could be the very last ball where Nathan Lyon's flick. It doesn't matter what the situation is. They're going to play their shots, and that's what I think basketball is more like, and it's that fearless attitude. And to be fair, Australia played with the fearless attitude.
They did too.
And so I don't think it's a truly unique English thing where I think they've coined the phrase, but I think that kind of fearless attitude is among a lot of sides across the world. And to be honest, this feels like what an ODI match should feel like to me, Nick.
It actually did kind of play like an ODI should play, like a good associate ODI, which but I wonder if the Bazball approach, quote unquote, which it's an interesting term, but I wonder if that approach puts pressure on having to play a wicketkeeper who's more of a batter.
Sure.
Because if you don't score the runs, you're in trouble.
Right.
So you need to put the runs up. But it was fantastic. I hope the entire Ashes is like this. It's like we like to daydream about Test cricket coming to the USA someday.
Yeah.
We're a long ways away from that, in my opinion, and we're even longer ways away from having, maybe, who knows, maybe Major League Cricket helps bring this, but the crowd, the whole Test experience of the Ashes, to me, is like that's how it is. That's how it should be. You see the fans going absolutely crazy. You see Australians there in their little section, getting to see the win right before their eyes. Just tremendous. It's just great sport.
No, it is a great sport, and again, it's not going to go perfect, right? You're going to always have questions. Should Anderson have bowled with the new ball in the end instead of an Ollie Robinson?
Right.
Should Stokes have taken it earlier? That declaration on day one.
Right.
Should they have gone and played out the remainder of day one, especially with Joe Root batting in the form and at the clip he was batting at? Do you take him out there? So, there's a lot of questions a Test match is going to leave you, and you can talk about. We have a comment here. Ben dropped an easy catch off Nathan Lyon's bat as well. So, there's plenty of things that happen in a Test match, but I think that's the beauty of cricket and Test cricket in general is there's 5 days. I don't think one singular moment will be the reason you lose. That's barely that in a T20 match.
Right.
And I think when you have 5 days, one singular moment doesn't lose you match. It's an overall construction. And plenty of things didn't go Australia's way, right? They made plenty of mistakes as well, but it was the moment they needed to, they capitalized on it.
Yeah, and they were there to win the game.
Yeah.
You could see that attitude. I think when they had 5 wickets down, I think they needed 140 some to win in that last session there. And it was anyone's game. You go to the last session of a 5-day test, of the 5th day of a test, and all 3 outcomes are possible.
Yeah.
But it felt like this was going to be there was going to be a result. There was going to be a winner.
Yep.
Is how it felt, and of course that's how it ended up. But the ebbs and flows there that last session, incredible. And seeing the confidence of the batters, especially after we just watched the last 2 USA games.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue, Nate, because those USA games in the World Cup qualifier, we had a lot of optimism going in there. We were seeing these guys kind of play at a really good level and thinking, if they can make some noise early on, they could really put pressure and be one of those 2 that go into qualifying.
Agree, especially because they had wind. I thought it was great that they drew Windies for the first game.
Yeah,
because you have a team with a new coach, there's a lot of questions about the West Indies team. USA should be on a high. They're getting ready to play a full member team.
Yep.
They should be on a high. They should be riding a high.
You have nothing to lose.
You've got nothing to lose. You got to go out there and get the first punch in and try to beat a very skilled team before they fully arrive at the event. Like the first game, you're easing your way into the thing or whatever. I think that's a great opportunity to show that, hey, look, we can play cricket too. We're a good team too. I know you're used to playing full member teams, but we're good too, and we're here for this. And unfortunately, the bowlers did that to start the game. Yes, we saw Kyle Phillip with a tremendous celebration, by the way. And we'd love to be playing the footage of this, but we know the ICC would take this down.
Nate's got a little bit of beef with the ICC at the moment. If you don't know why, you can follow CricFan USA on Instagram. If it's still up there when you get to Instagram. Before we continue to move on, I want to shout out River here. He's brand new to cricket. He lives close to Grand Prairie.
Oh, wow.
And so he's going to go to the first game. So exciting stuff for him, right? This is what it's all about, bringing cricket to the United States, getting these new fans
so cool,
involved.
Man. That's
awesome. A great story, River. We hope you have a great time at that first match. But
we hope to be there too.
Yeah, hopefully we'll meet you out there. Hopefully that's the plan.
So, but that's awesome. Like, we want to do some things. River, if you're new to cricket, the John Boy Media has a great video, JOMBOY, a great video for baseball fans to get into cricket. So check that out. Search that. It's easy to find. John Boy Cricket for Baseball Fans. It explains the rules of cricket to baseball fans. And also, John Boy has a warehouse games coming up that's a high hybrid of cricket and baseball, basically.
I heard that this jersey behind us was worn by our very own Nate Hayes. You were Nate Hayes, the umpire this time.
The umpire. I was an umpire, and anybody who's seen me umpire is cringing right now.
All the TCL players are saying, I don't know about this. Might get some dodgy calls, so make sure you get into the John Boy Warehouse games.
Yeah, but part of the design of that, obviously, it's meant for entertainment, and the design is because cricket, the ball's in play a lot more than in baseball. So that's the idea: get the ball in play, and then teach American fans the gameplay of cricket. So it's cricket gameplay it's cricket rules with baseball skills. Yeah. So that everyday Americans that don't know cricket can play the game. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That's coming on the 25th. You'll see me umpiring in this pink shirt that makes me look even larger.
Well, hey, we're all for it. Nate Hayes is larger than life anyways. But speaking of the USA, again, the West Indies first up, and they fall, and you hit it on the head. I just thought the intent was lacking. I think, PDP put out something by Shea Hope, quote that I think summed it up perfectly about Gajanand Singh's innings. Great 100 from Gajanand Singh. We've seen him play some great innings. But Shea Hope was like, it was a decent knock, but I thought he just might go a little bit quicker than he did, knowing the target was a little bigger. Felt like they were just playing more. I wrote it down. It looked like we were a team happy to be there rather than a team looking to throw punches.
I think that's the thing. As fans, we're very happy for him. Yeah. As fans of USA, as fans of Gajanand Singh, who's saved our butts how many times? We wouldn't be here without him.
That picture there is from the Ireland series. In that first T20, there's no way we win that T20 without his incredible innings. I was witness that live. It was unbelievable.
Right. Hear that, ICC? This is a picture from Florida. This is not a picture from the World Cup Qualifiers. So there you go. We're not stealing your stuff. But yeah, Gaj has been a savior for USA. They wouldn't be at this point without Gajanand Singh.
Absolutely.
So you feel very happy for him that he got that century. And yes, you sympathize with the fact that he came in a really difficult spot, and he did hold it all together. But really, when you look at the end, how they were able to score runs more towards the end, and you think, well, they could have done this before. They could have done this a little sooner. I know Jahangir, who has earned his way into the team with tremendous play, especially at the minor league level, one of the hottest bats in the country for the last year and a half. He started off pretty slow. So yes, but obviously the run out killed us. The run out there killed us because I thought we had a really great chance to. And even after the run out, I thought, okay, they still have batting depth. This is why you have Jahangir batting at number 7.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's a very good person to have a 7.
So that really killed us. That run out, and I think the run was there to be had, but I also think that I don't think Gajanand Singh's going to run when there's like a 5% chance you can get run out. In that situation, I think maybe Aaron, going back, probably would have not ran on that one if he could do it again. I mean, you got the West Indian fielders who are very athletic, especially this generation of them.
Sure.
Tremendous. And we'll talk more about some of those players later on when we get into the major league teams. But yeah, it's it was great to see Kyle do so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steven bowled incredibly well, took really good wickets. Nosh came through with a good economy and then finally took a wicket there himself. That first game, I felt like the first game was there for them to win. I would have liked them to chase it down, but we all would have liked them to chase it down.
Absolutely. Again, we heard Dane Pete say it last week on the show where it's winter over there in Africa right now, so the wickets are there for the batters, and to hold a West Indian powerhouse team, really a lot of big hitters under 300.
Yeah.
Now, this feels like, okay, now we just go out there, we play with like we have nothing to lose. We can go out there and steal one. It's kind of felt like that should have been the mentality.
I thought so.
And it almost just felt like we were lacking in that department. And we were, and honestly, I think we were all hoping for a big bounce back game against Nepal.
Especially the way the innings finished.
Yes, you saw, okay, this is something you can build off of.
Yeah, take that into the next game. We can bat here. We can score against these guys. We do play Nepal a lot.
Yeah.
They play Nepal a ton. We're not playing Nepal in Nepal, which is a massive advantage.
But we're playing them in Zimbabwe, and then Gajanand KC stops all momentum with those early wickets, man. I think he's making, again, I saw him for the first time live in Texas last year, and I think you can make the argument he might be the best pace bowler in terms of the associate circuit.
He's in the top. He's in the conversation.
He's on the conversation at least.
It's tough to look beyond Bilal Khan, leading the world in ODI wickets last year, and it's tough to look beyond Ali Khan. Who we all know is ace, absolutely phenomenal player, phenomenal fast bowler. But Karan KC is in that conversation for me, just especially with the new ball, just tremendous with the new ball. And man, boy, did he show that. His first spell.
That ball to Stephen Taylor was unbelievable, and then Simon Kamala. There's really nothing you could do there. Like, it was terrific stuff.
Yeah,
he was ripping.
It was like they weren't expecting that amount of bounce almost, but and the swing.
The swing is what did it. I've seen him bowl. I haven't seen him quite move it that much, and I think he's really liking the fact that he's out on Nepal on those wickets that aren't really that useful for the Pacers now in a different element, and I think he's taken full advantage of it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he is as painful as it was to watch.
Yeah.
As a cricket fan, you still appreciate. And Andrew Leonard said it. He's always got a bright smile on his face. He's very happy to be playing cricket. And he's aggressive. He goes after the wickets, and you gotta like that. And they really gave the slip fielder a workout.
Yeah,
sure.
They did. They absolutely did. But I think we saw two very different hundreds for the USA. 2 matches, 2 centuries. But the Jahangir century, it's not like he came in an easy position where he could just tee off. No, he had to kind of salvage an innings.
Yeah.
But he also showed off some brilliant stroke play and scored at a clip above 125.
Yeah, right.
At that position where, we're talking about like 80 runs were on the board when he came, around 60 to 90 runs were on the board when he came into bat. And from there, he's the reason the USA were able to claw up to 207.
Oh yeah, it didn't look like 200 was possible.
No,
we were talking in the Discord about it, and Nikhil Chandani was saying USA will want to get over 200, and we were like, yeah, that's not looking so good right now. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cheyenne played very, very well. Like, lucky for him, he came in kind of after the Karan KC crazy spell. But yeah, I mean, I started looking forward. This is something that I don't think I've ever said. I started looking forward to Sandeep Lamachani coming in. Like they were hitting him just fine. They were batting very well. He was actually maybe the worst I've seen him look.
Yeah,
He had no accuracy.
Yeah.
He was wild. It didn't even look like he was bowling with a plan in mind. To me, USA took advantage of that, of his loose deliveries. The Nosh promotion.
That again, it's another interesting one. We saw it before with Siva Kumar Duvarapu in a similar situation where they're losing wickets and they send someone ahead of Jaskar Malhotra at the time, a batter who's basically at his peak.
Yeah.
It's some interesting decisions continually being made for the USA.
Well, honestly, we all love Nosh. We've seen his batting grow especially in minor league cricket. He's very creative. He's looking for gaps. He's going to take you on, and I think he batted well at the end of the first game. And I think I like the idea of promoting him, but Karan KC was still on fire, and you have a lefty in Gajanand Singh, and maybe I do like the idea psychologically of promoting Nosh. Your team's down. They're in a terrible hole. It looks really bad. Now, a guy who doesn't usually bat high up the order is getting to bat high up the order. That's always going to bring support from the team. Sure. When you see a guy getting a chance and Nosh is going out there with a smile on his face, he's getting ready to bat with his friend, with Sushant Modani, who they train together.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Peter pointed that out in the comments, but in the commentary of the game. But you get to see that it's going to bring a little bit of a rise out of the team. That's really cool, but it didn't work out. So, when things don't work out, it's kind of the wrong call.
But to me, in that situation, why not? If you're going to promote anybody, Jahangir to me feels like the perfect person to promote.
I think just because of the lefty, because Karan KC. But although he got Steven.
He got Steven. You've seen him take lefty wickets, and Jahangir isn't someone who's not accustomed to batting up the order versus Nosh, usually batting at 8, 7, 8, 9. Now thrown into go bat at 5, and the ball's doing things. To me, Jahangir again, he scored a century off 79 deliveries, and he did what he was supposed to do there. So maybe it's better to keep him in a spot. But he to me feels like a better option to deal with some of that because he is a top order player.
Sure. So yeah. I mean, either way you go, it turned out to be the wrong decision. You know, it was great that it was as a fan watching the game and you're down in the dumps and you see Nosh go in, you get excited.
Sure.
So you think maybe that was what that was for, was to boost the team a little bit, give them something to be excited about in a really rough patch. But yeah, yes, Jahangir put up tremendous numbers. Got them to over 200, but you're never going to defend 200 on that wicket against this Monty Desai coach squad, who is the hottest team in the world right now. They've won 14 out of 16 games, and you've got Ali Khan out of the team.
Yeah, but he'll be back. Him, Moning Patel will both be back, so you're thinking they could find their way into.
Sure.
They're going to find their way into 11 because you're playing Netherlands, so you got to have a win. And, you know, does that mean Sushant Madani goes out? Does that mean Kyle Phillip falls or Jesse Singh comes out of the 11?
Right, yeah.
I think all those questions come into play. Kyle Phillip's done tremendously well, so maybe.
Well, yeah, Kyle did great in the first game.
Yeah.
Jesse did better than Kyle in the second game.
So
it's a difficult choice.
Right.
Who do you take out of there? You got a little bit more bat with Jesse. You know, you got more bat with Jesse than you have with Kyle. You got more pace with Kyle than with Jesse.
So I think it is a coin flip there and where they go, and so we'll get to see that again tomorrow. They'll take on Netherlands, and again, Moning Patel's going to be in the team. He's going to captain the side, and
they needed to win one of these two games.
Yeah,
everyone was celebrating the net run rate advantage after the loss. Well, that's toast now.
Yeah, it is toast after you put up 207 and they chase it down and you know, well under 50 overs, but. We'll move on into Major League Cricket now, and we'll move on because we do have a lot of teams making a lot of big announcements, so we want to get to all of those teams. And we'll start out with the Washington Freedom making one announcement. They call it Freedom Friday, and I love their Friday post as they announced that Akil Hussain is going to be into that squad. So there you go, Nate. What do you think about Akil?
Well, I like this, especially because this Washington team doesn't have a lot of left-handed batters. Actually, I think they only have one left-handed batter, and it's a domestic player. So I think that they needed another domestic bat. Now, Akil Hussain is not necessarily terribly prolific with the bat in hand, but he is a serious prospect. I mean, there's a reason why they picked him. He's he's 30 years old, but he plays for Trinidad and Tobago, and he did play for them. He now plays for Melbourne Renegades, and there you go. So Trinbago Knight Riders, of course, but yeah, he's not incredibly prolific with the bat, but I think that he'll be great. Slow left arm orthodox. We both know how well that does. Yep. You already have a lot of right arm finger spinners in the team, so he brings another look into this, and so I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I do too. Again, I think you're building depth also at the spin position. You already have Wanindu Hasaranga.
Right.
You have Dane Pete in there, Akhilesh Bodagam. You have an Obis Pinar who bowls some left arm spin as well. So you have different options there, and I think you're getting a lot of flavors into your options. And then with the bat, I think he can come in at the end and throw that willow around, so you're thinking he can be a big hitter at the end of the line.
I was wrong. They have Ben Dwarshis, who's a left-handed batter as well. So they just added a little bit of depth there at the left-hand batter position. They have Saad Ali, left-handed batter. So yeah, but I think that it's good to add lefties. Especially we know here in the USA, lefties tend to do well. And T20, you want to have a couple of them in your batting order.
Absolutely, just change things up. And again, I think for a team that's had a lot of their players announced for a long time, it feels like they've had this group kind of in mind. Again, I feel like everything they've done so far has been very calculative, and I think that there's a reason they're doing this. And again, he might not play every single game, but they're thinking, well, if we do see spin on a wicket, he's a guy we can plug and play basically straight away.
Agree with you. Yeah, and also cancel out some of that leg spin with the left-handed bat, a little lower down the order. But it's a very well-balanced team. We've talked about that. It's a team that's thoughtfully put together. It's got a good captain in Enriquez.
Yep.
And Wanindu Hasaranga. I mean, it's hard to get a better T20 all-rounder than him. So, it's a very, very solid team. We know that we really like their domestic picks. But I like the pick. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on, we'll go to the West Coast, and we'll talk about the San Francisco Unicorns because they make a couple moves, not just with the overseas signings, but they pick up a head coach and a familiar name as a head coach. It's Shane Watson, who will be the head coach of the Unicorns for this season. And they also bring in Matthew Wade, Case Ahmed, Finn Allen, and Mackenzie Harvey. And they still have 2 more overseas that they will soon be announcing.
Yeah, and the Finn Allen pick there.
Yeah.
That's
I know you love that pick.
that is tremendous. The guy really puts on a show. He's quite a prospect. I'm very excited about the possibility of seeing Shane Watson around, because he was involved in the action that really got me into cricket in the first place. But the first cricket I ever saw in 2015 was Shane Watson batting against Wahab Riaz, and after I saw that spell, I was we're getting a lot of good comments here. After I saw that spell, I was hooked on cricket. So the idea that I'll see Shane Watson here at Church Street Park, it has me being a fan right now.
So here's the goal for 2023. Shane Watson, we got to get you and Nate Hayes in a selfie and a photo together, because this is the reason we have Crick Fan USA. It's the Shane Watson. So for everyone who follows Nate and listens to Nate, you can thank Shane Watson, I guess, for his emergence.
And Wahab Riaz, too.
Yeah. Wahab Riaz, there you go. Throw all of them in the mix. We got to get all 3 of them in a photo together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Origin stories. But, again, I think they have a lot of really good pieces there. Obviously picking up Liam Plunkett and company. Corey Anderson's already over there. So they're continuing to add this talent together, and we talked about them extensively last week as well. So, again, a lot of good players moving around. And continuing on that West Coast line, we'll talk about Seattle, because they bring in some guys I know you're excited about, Nagin, Heinrich Klaassen and Andrew Ty. I'm sure you love him. They also pick up a head coach in Pravin Amre and a batting coach. They've announced this for a while. It's Ross Taylor as their batting coach. So we're seeing some of these former players coming in and trying their hands as a coach.
Well, if Ross Taylor can teach you how to be Ross Taylor, then you got to go for it, right? I like this. I like these pickups. Obviously, I am definitely most excited about the Andrew Ty. Love the knuckleball delivery. He's one of my favorite cricketers to watch. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm stoked about Andrew Ty, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, the Orcas squad, they went a lot of Seattle talent. But I think their overseas have been real flashy, right? You talk about Quinn DeCock, now you got Andrew Ty, Heinrich Klaassen, becomes a keeper if Quinn DeCock does get hurt, but he can bat without keeping as well. So they got plenty of pieces over there in Seattle, and so those are all of the moves that were made since we talked. But there's one team that actually on the day that we published our episode, they said, you know what, we're just going to announce everybody except for one, and that was TSK, the Texas Super Kings. They announced their full squad. They excluded one overseas. They're yet to announce that one, but we'll go and talk about all of their overseas. They bring in Faf du Plessis to be their captain, Devin Conway, Mitchell Santner, David Miller, we know the prowess that he brings in the T20 format, Daniel Sams, Gerald Coetzee, Dwayne Bravo, and Ambati Raidu. Those are the 8 overseas that they have announced. And again, I think in terms of star power, I don't know if it gets much bigger than this in terms of star power.
These guys in Mumbai right now.
Yeah.
In New York.
In New York, there you go.
My New York, MI New York, standing for Mumbai Indians New York, in case you don't know why I made that mistake. But yeah, we have Faf du Plessis, a legend. He's going to be the captain of the team. They're promoting him all over the place in cowboy hats. He does look like a cowboy.
Absolutely. He can pull off the look.
He's got it.
We got to get him in an old Western movie. I think that's got to be the goal.
Agree with you. Devin Conway and Faf du Plessis opening the batting there. It's perfect. It's just plug them right on in.
Agreed.
The only thing I think that they're missing really here is and they still have one person left to announce.
Yes.
The only thing I think they're missing here is maybe another spinner.
I would agree with you.
And one that turns it. So you have Santner, who left arm orthodox, meaning he's turning the ball away from the right-hander.
Yep.
It's pitching away from them, and you'd want to have a spinner that does the opposite.
Yeah.
So and who do you think that's
who comes to mind? I think Shana comes to mind. Who's been tearing it up everywhere in the world.
Young too,
absolutely.
And this team looks like they're going to want to promote his chances, get him some experience. So even if he's sitting, he's learning. But I think we'll see if he is in the team. I mean, we're speculating right now. But
absolutely.
if he seems like the obvious choice. If he's in the team, then I don't think he's going to be sitting a whole lot.
No, you would be hard pressed to find him sitting a whole bunch. But since we're already speculating, Nate, we have a couple of probable 11s that we've created and compiled, and we're going to start out with Nate Hayes' TSK 11. Nate, I'm going to let you take this one away.
Right. Okay. So yeah, basically we're just speculating what the teams would be if we were running the show.
Yeah, this is kind of what we look for. Remember, there is 6 overseas players that can be in an 11, so it caps out at 6. So that's a very important number to keep in mind.
Actually, this is kind of a prediction for me.
Okay.
And it's based on some logic of when they took the players, where they took them, when they took the domestics. But I've got Faf and Devin Conway. Why split them up? We talked about that.
Yeah.
I said, Devin Conway can bat at 3. He has in the past. In 5 games at number 3, his numbers are absolute. It's a small sample, but his numbers are through the roof.
But you don't take just the clip that he was in the IPL. I just can't imagine you move him.
Why would you do that?
There's
you
pundits
get that.
Yeah, there's pundits that say he might be the best T20 opener in the world at the moment. Yeah, so I don't think you can move off of that.
Yeah, I think you just keep them together, especially when you've got Lahiru Malantha, who we both know can bat all over the place.
Yep.
This is a very interesting team because of all the left-handed batting options that it has. So I've got Lahiru Malantha at number 3. The question is, does he keep or does Devin Conway? I think he keeps. I think Lahiru keeps. And the other option for Lahiru here is Sami Aslam, who we both have a lot of appreciation for. I love Sami Aslam. I think he's a brilliant batter, especially he's just it's so beautiful watching him play behind point.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely fantastic. Here's an example right there. Let's see if we can run that. But so I do have Lahiru slightly ahead of but here we go. Let's take a look.
Again, it's pure class.
You got 2 fielders behind point, and he's like, I don't care.
Picks the gap. Picks the gap.
I'm going to split you. He's got such good touch.
Absolutely. So much time on his hands.
Right. And then of course we have Lahiru he's got his own signature shot, and we're going to see that right here.
Yeah, just stands on the back foot, waits for it, and he's so good over cover, whether it's over the top of it or it's just through there. Again, can play it on the front foot, on the back foot.
Right.
He's shown the ability, again, whether it's wide of the crease, whether it's closer to stumps, the ability to just use his hands and flow through the shot.
Loves that shot over cover. And that one wasn't anywhere near one of his better ones, one of his best ones. But yeah, so we got Lahiru at 3. I got Rayudu at number 4. With right-handed bat right there is important. Now you can see here the red players listed are overseas and the black are domestics. If they have an asterisk next to their name, it means they can bowl.
Sure.
So I've got Rayudu at number 4. I think he's got tons of experience. He's been up and down. He's been all over the IPL.
Yep.
The last few, he's been with CSK in the IPL for the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Seems like a stable player.
It's been a while. He's part of this brand now.
Yep.
Then you have David Miller, left-handed batter. Oh man, having a left-handed middle order bat like this, it just changes. It just messes with he's fantastic.
Especially with his finishing ability.
He's got a tremendous ability to finish. He's great. I got Milind Kumar myself, right-handed batter at number 6. Now, Milind, just like Lahiru can bat all over the place, Milind can bat all over the place too. Yep. Fun batter to watch, exciting batter to watch. And he also bowls a little bit. He bowls a lot of off-break in minor league cricket. Now, he bowls, if you look at his minor league stats, it's a little unfair. Sure. He bowls in the Eastern Division in minor league, which is a tricky division. It's up until this year. Now they're not anymore, but up until this year it was on AstroTurf. The grounds are smaller. It is murder for a right arm off break bowler. So, but he can give you some overs. Now you see the bowling's a little thin on my team, so he's going to have to bowl.
Yeah.
Daniel Sams I've got. In terms of thin, I mean depth. There's not a lot of bowling.
You have 6 bowling options.
You have 6 bowling options. That's it. But I've got Daniel Sams, who I think is a tremendous, and he's left arm fast medium bowler, right-handed batter. Now he strikes at a ridiculous rate. I think he's in the 160 range lately. Just fantastic. I got the right-handed version of Daniel Sams, Calvin Savage, batting right after him, and he's our right-handed version of Daniel Sams in the USA kind of. He can come in and whack the ball all over the place. Obviously, he can bat a lot higher than 8. And he does in minor league cricket. In fact, he's the captain of his team. He's the playmaker on his team. Yep. But also a tremendous bowler. He was I think he was the 3rd highest ranked bowler out of 350 or so bowlers in minor league cricket last year. And he takes wickets in the power play too. Mitchell Santner I got at number 9, left-handed batter. Here's another left-handed batter. Slow left arm, orthodox batter. Mitchell Santner. We all, we know about Mitchell Santner. He plays in so many leagues around the world. Tremendous T20 player. Very smart cricketer. And very efficient and very effective bowler as well. Then we got Zia Shahzad, a domestic, turning the ball the other direction with his leg break. And once again, he's batting at 10 on this team. I would take Zia Shahzad batting at 10 any day.
Yeah, for sure.
In minor league cricket, he's much more effective than that. And he's also, I believe he's shortly eligible for USA. I think in a short time he'll be eligible for USA. So then we have Rusty Theron bringing up the rear. He was the number one overall. He was the number 1 pick for this team.
Yep.
Now they had the 6th round of the draft, so they snaked back down and they took Calvin Savage.
Yep.
So you see, I've got both of them in the team.
Yep.
You think you're going to put their top 3 picks in the team?
You have to imagine.
That's why I've got Lahiru there, and Calvin and Rusty. Rusty is in a short tournament. I'll take him for sure. He's fantastic. I mean, I'll take him anyways. He's incredibly he's incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
He's got a cannon.
Yep.
He's great. He's great from throwing from the boundary. He's a very, very good bowler. He's a smart, savvy bowler. He's very experienced. The moment's never going to get too big for him, and he's good in the death. And so I like that. And on the bench you got Dwayne Bravo. We know DJ Bravo with his slower balls. I just think right now Daniel Sams is better than DJ Bravo. Gerald Coetzee. Oh my goodness. How did we? It's like looking at this team. I want to put him in the team.
That's where the 6 overseas come into play, right? You just don't have that space for him right now.
I want to get him in the team, and it's like it's tough to look at him and say, how is he not in the team?
Absolutely.
But that's T20 cricket for you.
Yeah.
And obviously, Sammy Aslam, who I mentioned, Cam Stevenson, wouldn't be surprised to see him in there. He's based on the draft position, he's depth for Calvin Savage and Rusty Theron. Sure. Clearly, they want to go with fast bowling domestics. Cody Chetty, to me, is depth for Milind Kumar. He's tremendous, and I don't think you lose a whole lot with the bat if you swap the 2 out. They're both really good. Cody Chetty is very responsible, very high quality. He can also bowl a little bit off break.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it much, but then Sai Mukamala. Wow.
I mean, yeah. You wish you could get him in there. I'm not sure if he's going to play a lot, but we know the talent there. He's someone that if they really want to invest in, you think he can be in this 11 for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's great. So we've got we've got a Sparkle Army Forever hashtag going on. I'm just checking the you can't bench DJ Bravo. All right, I get it. But I just think you have to in this case. I just think Daniel Sams is too good right now.
Don't worry, KS. I was on your side too when we had the discussion earlier. But if we move over to my 11 really quickly, you'll see that Nate is very persuasive, and that I have also done the same. Put DJ Bravo out there outside the playing 11. But if you see, it's pretty similar. 1, 2, 3. Faf du Plessis, Devin Conway are not going to break up that opening. I had to convince Nate to not break up that opening originally. Go Lahiru, Milanta at 3. I think Semi Aslam could always plug in there as well. And then whoever you want to keep, Devin or Lahiru. We've talked about Ambati Raidu, David Miller. And this is where now my 11 gets a little bit different from yours. I have Daniel Sams there at 6. Again, we talked about he is your left-handed. Your left arm fast.
I made a mistake on this graphic.
It's okay. No one's
two number
looking.
7s because we can't decide.
No one's looking over there. But so I have him there as our left arm fast, and also strikes the ball at a clip at number 6. You feel pretty good about his ability to come in and finish. Another finishing type player I have in Calvin Savage, right on pace. Your second pick in the draft. You have to imagine he's gonna play in this 11. And again, you can see Calvin Savage right here, what he's able to do with the ball in hand. Again, for the Chicago Tigers, was a huge part of it. Able to take pace off, and you saw it there, and I think that's why he's so valuable. If you want to go 4 straight from Daniel Sams, you can take pace off with Calvin Savage and roll all those variations. I have Mitchell Santner in this 11. I think you need 2 spinners, and I think it's Mitchell Santner. It's a left-arm spinner, and also what he gives you with the bat can come in and hit around an 8. This is the biggest difference for me. Nate had Milind Kumar in his 11, and I like Milind a lot. Great bat, I think, underrated with the ball. But I went with Cam Stevenson, and I went with this because you want to have that 6 bowling option. I feel, how much is Milind going to bowl? We saw him bowl a little bit in the Champions Open. How much do the Texas Super Kings view him as a bowler? And if they see him as a guy, okay, we can give him 2 to 4 overs every game we play him, then sure, I wouldn't mind playing him. But if he's a guy that maybe we sneak an over in, I'm not sure. But Cam Stevenson's a guy I know can give me 2 overs at the very least.
Oh, yeah.
Has a lot of variations. He can bowl all 4 if you need it. Say someone's getting lit up. He's someone who can come in and plug in right away. Very good. Also good enough with the bat to knock it around.
Yeah, true.
Very experienced around the USA setup. Also played in Australia, so I think he's a name that could be looked at. Again, Sammy Aslam, he has bowled a little bit of medium pace. I'm not sure they're going to utilize that. I'm not sure he's going to do much of it. So that's where if Sammy Aslam was going to bowl here, he would be in there right now in this 11 for sure.
Even with the
heavy amount of left-handers, to me, I want another bowling option that I feel comfortable giving 2 to 4 overs for. And then you have Zia Shahzad. He's going to be your leggy in the side, and then Rusty Theran. I can't imagine you pick him in the first round and then you don't play him in your starter.
I made another mistake on this. I accidentally didn't change the part where it says Cameron Stevenson's right hand. He's a right-handed batter, and he's a fast. He's a right-handed fast medium bowler. Everybody, I'm not that stupid.
It's all right. We forgive you, Nate. But again, that's the one change for me. It's just the Cameron Stevenson insertion, and I think you probably lose just a little bit with the bat because Millen is so prolific.
Yeah.
But I think where Millen would come in would be at 6-7, not where he's most accustomed to batting. A new role for him. And I think Cameron Stevenson can give you some in the back, and I just think when you don't know what the wicket's going to look like, I think having that extra bowling option can always be valuable for you.
Yeah, I see that. And we mentioned if they bring in a right arm off break bowler. Now, if they bring in Tikshana,
the question is, who does he come in for? Because he can't come in for Cam Stevenson or Milind Kumar.
And I think you play him in over Santner because of, in my configuration, you play him over Santner because of the fact that Zia's turning it the other direction.
Sure. I could also throw in the fact that maybe you play him over Daniel Sams. I love Daniel Sams and what he's doing, but who did you draft? You drafted Rusty Theran, Calvin Savage, first 2 picks, and then Cam Stevenson. So you have, those pace bowlers who can bat as well. So do you feel comfortable enough in those picks to say, hey, Daniel, this is going to be a turning track. We're going to play the 3 spinners and play if Dikshan is in this team, of course.
Right. Well, that would lessen your batting a little bit, for sure. But yeah, there's so many interesting things to talk about with this team. They went really heavy with the lefties. The way I see it, taking Sammy Aslam, I think it was the 5th round when they took Sammy Aslam. Terrific value. But you've got so many lefty bats in the lineup, and you brought so many over, and you already had Lahiro. So to me, I think that's why I've got Lahiro and Sammy Aslam. Kind of one of those is going to play.
One of those has to play.
But you do have depth in the roles. You can see how the domestic roles are established here, because you've got the fast bowling role with Cameron and Calvin and Rusty domestically. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch what this team can do. How do you think they look? What do you think? I mean, the overseas batting on this team is wild.
It's star-studded. It's kind of different to me from the way the Super Kings franchise usually builds their teams, especially when you look at the IPL.
Yeah.
They're usually a team that has a lot of good all-rounders, and they're a team that maybe don't blow off the doors off. Not going to score 200 every game, but if they get to 160, 170, it's going to be tough to chase things down. This kind of feels like the opposite. This feels, and KS put it in the chat, this is a lineup that feels like it's going to rain sixes, and they're going to score 200. It feels like they might need to score 200. And again, it's not because I don't think all these players are good. I just think the combination of what you can do with the 6 overseas, I just think that's where the question marks come in. Now, if both wickets are pace wickets and there's not a lot of turn, well, you lucked out. You got all pace bowlers basically in there. You have the 1 spinner, just 2 spinners to throw a little bit of difference in, and you have incredible batting all-round, bowling all-rounders. But if there is some turn, now this is where you can see this team struggle. I think this is a team that's going to be heavy reliant on their top 5 to score big runs.
I think so too. Yeah, like you said, I see them scoring a lot of runs, and I see them needing a lot of runs.
Yeah.
And I think that we might not say that after a couple more seasons, but there's so much good talent on this team that in this league, you've got 6 overseas per team. There's a lot of great batters that are going to be playing in this league, and so you're exposing a lot. You're relying heavily on domestic bowling, in either configuration of this.
Sure.
And I think that's interesting. That's going to be interesting. I think we'll see some high-scoring games with these teams. And like I said, maybe the first season, maybe the bowling might struggle a little bit. Who knows? Maybe they'll be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think that they'll learn from this. This is good that they'll be in this situation. There'll be pressure, I think, a little bit every single game. We have one question. KS asked, what are the pitches? What kind of pitches can we expect at Grand Prairie? Now, we know a little bit about that because of we know the guy that's put the pitch in for both places.
Sure.
And that is Dave Agnew, and we have a pretty
fantastic Dave Agnew.
Fantastic. We have a very good sporting wicket here in Morrisville. It's a pretty neutral wicket. There's a little bit in it for everybody, and all the games go down to the wire at Church Street Park, especially under the lights.
Yep, something in it for the Pacers. And
sure.
I actually had a question on my Instagram DMs the other day. What are the wickets like across the country? And I said, North Carolina, it's probably an even pitch. To me, I don't think there's you could really put it in a category because there's stuff in it for the Pacers.
Yeah.
It's skiddy.
It's very even.
There's swing there. There is stuff for the spinners. You see a lot of spinners bowl.
Yeah.
And then for the bats, the ball usually carries through, so there is opportunities to score big runs. So yeah, Morrisville's pretty standard. We haven't seen a ball yet bowled on the Grand Prairie pitch, but the same person who's put in these same wickets, you have to imagine is going to play pretty consistently.
Oh, absolutely. Knowing Dave Agnew, we can expect a good wicket down in Dallas as well. And the thing about Morrisville is the games have to be played at 5:30.
Yes.
Because of the rule about the lights have to be out by 10. So because of that, you have the dew coming in the second innings. You have a lot of teams electing to bowl first. And that could be an issue this season. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, I think that the team batting second wins less than 60% of the time at Church Street Park in minor league cricket. So the games are always good under the lights.
Tight.
They always come down to the end. Tune in for all the games, but if you want to see some guaranteed close games, check out the Church Street. That's the second, like the middle part of the season.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff, and we talked about domestic talent, showing itself in spades, and we're going to see even more domestic talent across different borders here, Nate, because we've gotten the news in the past couple of days that minor league cricket, they're going to partner with Cricket Canada and Boundaries North. They're going to identify ownership groups for the future seasons, and basically what this means is minor league cricket, it's coming to Canada.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is great in so many ways, and I think that right now they're doing a search for potential owners. Yep. I've talked to basically the commissioner of minor league cricket today, and Zubin.
He's like Adam Schefter here, everybody. just talking, always on the phone, ringing, two phones out.
Yeah, I talked to Zubin Sarkari today, who played for Canada.
Yeah.
And he's the head of minor league cricket, so he's thrilled about this. Obviously, this was to me a no-brainer. Because you want to expose cricket, Canada should be a big partner with us. Sure. We need to have more of the Audi Cup. Audi Cup, for those that don't know, is the oldest international competition in the world, and it's Canada versus USA. First played in 1844, and so we need to build on that relationship. We need to grow that relationship and include their players, I think. So what Zubin told me on the phone today was that Canadian players will be allowed to play as free agents in minor league this year. So while they wait to establish teams, which they won't be able to do before this season starts, they're going to allow Canadians to come here in the USA and play as free agents on minor league teams. And the teams that are outside of draft zones, they can have even more free agents. They'd have to apply for that though. So yeah, it's very exciting. One of the things that I think this does. This is, to me, the big thing. Does this mean we're going to have Major League Cricket in Canada eventually? I don't think you would do this unless you're moving in that direction.
It would be fantastic.
And this is just speculation.
Yeah.
But Toronto would be a great team for a Major League, a great city for a Major League team. It would bring more eyes on the league.
Sure.
Not only that, but the ICC is considering, according to some reports, ICC is considering limiting the overseas and franchise cricket to 4 per team. If that happens, obviously that could limit Major League Cricket's chances to expand here in the USA with enough talent to make Major League Cricket to keep the quality that we want to keep, basically. So if you expand into Canada, all of a sudden now you have a whole new domestic pool that's brought in as part of this pool, and it makes our domestic stock even bigger in Major League Cricket, and it helps survive potential rule changes like you can only have 4 overseas from full member nations, which, you know, we'll see if that comes to pass, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I mean, this has been fantastic, and again, to see some minor league cricket in Canada is going to be great. Major League Cricket, I mean, maybe a partnership with the Global T20, or how does that work?
Right.
I think there's all these questions that can be asked. But Nate, I think we're running right there on time. Somehow we've already talked for 50 minutes. This thing just flies, and we love talking to you guys. It was unfortunate we didn't have Dane Pete here this week, but he'll be back here next week, hopefully, after taking a bunch more wickets in the Houston Open. Nate, I've had an absolute blast talking about all this stuff, and hopefully tomorrow the USA can get a win, and hopefully we'll get more and more Major League Cricket news as the weeks unfold.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's a great time for cricket. Summer. It's summer.
It's summertime.
So it's a great time for cricket, and thanks for tuning in, guys, and we hope to see you. Subscribe, please. You know, all the bell thing, all that stuff.
Just subscribe, get those notifications going, share this to anyone you know interested in Major League Cricket, minor league cricket, USA cricket, or just cricket in general. We started with the Ashes, so we appreciate you guys for tuning in and staying with us through this entire hour. For myself, for Nate Hayes, and for Babar Beg, who has produced this whole show for you guys, giving you all the graphics and videos. We bid you a good night and see you next week. That's all for Big Innings.